Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do an update on the situation with Meta, with Facebook. Of course, Mark Zuckerberg infamously posted a video yesterday or the day before talking about how they were going to fire their fact checkers. And apparently the fact checkers were not aware.
Well, probably
they were
not.
getting fired.
Because they would try to do something about it. They'd go to the media or whatever.
Right. So now they're out here complaining that, oh my God, they did not tell us that we were gone. But these are third-party companies, right? So it's not like they're actual employees. They hired these third-party companies. And for those of you who don't want to sit through the other video where we kind of dissect Zuckerberg's comments, basically he says that he thinks fact-checking has gotten out of control. He wants Facebook to be more apolitical. The fact-checkers, because they're based in California, are more biased, obviously.
I know. I thought that was funny.
And he's going to hire fact-checkers in Texas. And they're big mad. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownfishtv.com for more objective pop culture news. Go out to clownfishminus.com for exclusive content and merchandise. And yeah, this was wired yesterday, not long after Zuckerberg dropped his announcement video. They said that the fact checkers did not know. They had no advance warning whatsoever.
That's funny. I mean, I think it's so they wouldn't run to the media.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, you're not going to tell. Well, that's like some companies, software companies, or any company that's like government adjacent. I know this for a fact because I used to work for one. That if they made the decision to get rid of someone or lay somebody off before they even called them into the office, they had already made sure that their email, they're locked out of the system, locked out of email, whatever.
Well, yeah, because if they didn't go to the media, the other thing they could have done was go and start fact checking everything and incorrectly and
Nuke
stuff
the
to
site.
cause, to try and nuke the site. Yeah.
All right, so this comes from Wired. Meta's fact-checking partners claim they were blindsided by the company's decision to abandon third-party fact-checking on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads in favor of community notes, and they're scrambling to figure out if they can survive the hole this leaves in their funding. We heard the news just like everyone else, says Alan Duke, co-founder and editor-in-chief of fact-checking site Lead Stories, which started working with Meta in 2019, right before the election. No advance notice.
And then he said the last few years.
Yeah.
He was tying it back to about 2019, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before the 2020 election, things got weird. The news that Meta was no longer planning on using their services was announced in a blog post by Joel Kaplan, who they were talking about how he has like ties to Trump or something.
What's that have to do with the price of gas?
Because he has.
I know.
Yeah,
but
what
I'm
I'm
just
saying.
like, but
Yeah.
you know.
So this is Jesse Stiller, the managing editor of Meta fact-checking partner Check Your Facts. We were blindsided by this.
His organization started working with Meta in 2019.
Yeah, in 2019, it has 10 people working in the newsroom. Wait, and working in their newsroom? This was totally unexpected and out of left field for us. We weren't aware the decision was being considered until Mark dropped the video overnight. He didn't even. So that's interesting. I didn't know which day it was dropped on. They dropped it overnight. So in the middle of the night, they drop a huge bombshell.
Read the next paragraph. The news organizations who had partnered with Meta to tackle the spread of disinformation on the platform from 2016 on are scrambling to figure out how this will change. The change will impact them.
We have no idea what the future looks like for the website going forward, says Stiller. So Lead Stories has a diverse revenue stream and most of its operations are outside the U.S. Probably in the UK. But he claims the decision would still have an impact on them. The most painful part of this is losing some very good experienced journalists who will no longer be paid to research false claims found on Meta platforms.
Research. Bullshit, they were researched.
This is another editor at a U.S.-based fact-checking organization that works with Meta.
Bet since 2019.
I'm sure it's eventually going to drain us out because Facebook was their biggest client. So this sounds a lot like these are fact checkers, but they also sound a bit like sensitivity readers or consultants that they're third-party organizations they bring in. And this happened in this happened in news across the board. Like, even if you were a small website owner, and we can attest it was 2019, 2020, where R1 Ad Network brought in people to review sites and check the websites for misinformation. And if you had quote unquote misinformation on your website, guess what? You weren't eligible to be part of that ad network anymore. I mean, that's some draconian shit.
Well, listen to this one. Meta didn't owe fact checkers anything, but it knows that pulling this partnership is removing a very significant source of funding for the ecosystem globally. This person who helped establish first partnerships from 2015 to 2019.
So let me get it straight. You're mad that they just pulled the rug out from underneath you. How many people had the rug pulled out from underneath them on Facebook because of
Or
your
other social media
or other
sites.
social media sites, had their entire revenue streams destroyed on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, whatever, because of people like you?
Or because they said that, hey, COVID vaccines might be dangerous and women might be having health issues from it.
Demonetized.
Yep.
Yeah, now it's
Misinformation.
Now it's just fact, right? Everybody just kind of accepts it, and the people that push so hard for it, they just don't say anything. They just keep their heads down now. Meta's partners were angered that Zuckerberg's allegation that fact checkers had become, or at the allegation that they became too biased.
They've been. I mean, I think lately they haven't been as bad, but for the longest time they were over the top ridiculous.
Oh my God, this is so cringy. According to Duke, it's disappointing to hear Mark Zuckerberg accuse the organizations in Meta's U.S. third-party fact-checking program of being too politically biased. Let me fact-check that. Lead Stories follows the highest standards of journalism and ethics required by the International Fact-Checking Network Code of Principles. We fact-check without regard to where on the political spectrum a false claim originates.
Bull crap. I don't buy it for 1 minute.
This is funny. This is insane. To blame fact checkers is a disappointing cop-out. They said it was Meta themselves. No, actually what happened was, and I don't know, if it was their robo system or what the deal was, but like everybody was getting flagged for everything. You could be kicked off of Facebook for any reason. You'd be shadow banned for any reason. I know people that would post innocuous memes and then they would have their accounts suspended.
See, to me, this paragraph, okay. To blame fact checkers is a disappointing cop-out, and it perpetuates a misunderstanding of its own program. This person owns PolitiFacts and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Facts are not censorship. Fact checkers never censored anything, and Meta always held the cards. So wait, so you're either you censored it or Meta told you to censor it.
Right.
But either way.
I know, right?
I mean,
either way, it got censored. So here they're moving them to Texas, which I think is hilarious. That was the one thing that we caught yesterday. People were like, well, if they move them to Austin, it doesn't count because Austin's basically the San Francisco of Texas.
well, I think in general, people have been moving to Texas to try to make it less Republican anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Yeah, Meta did not respond to questions. This is coming from the Texas Tribune about how many employees would move to Texas or how the company expects the move will improve the team's operations. Samuel Woolley, the founder and former director of propaganda research at the University of Texas at Austin Center for Media Engagement, said Meta is likely following X's playbook, cutting back on content moderation and moving to Texas. The decision to move to Texas is born out of both some practicality and also some political motivation. The perception of California.
It's a perception, guys. Yeah.
The perception of California in the United States and among those in the incoming presidential administration is very different than the perception of Texas. He worries that removing fact-checking from Facebook would remove one of the mechanisms for supporting democracy.
But it didn't support democracy because people were getting flagged for misinformation that wasn't misinformation. Because especially when it came to COVID and the vaccines and stuff, people were being flagged for saying anything that questioned it and didn't fall into the line, and they were being flagged or banned or whatever. I've seen people say things that were completely not bad, but because they leaned a certain way politically, they got in trouble for it. And it's this is stupid. Don't tell me it wasn't politically motivated, because it was. That being said, I don't think it should go the opposite way either. I just think that politics shouldn't be in it at all.
This is coming from a Wrap. Meta pivots away from protections and guardrails as Trump 2.0 looms. Oh my God. And they get all the way to the bottom here, and they're talking about how it started in 2016. They said people have amnesia about just how strong the public pressure was on Facebook to add fact checkers following Trump's 2016 victory.
The public pressure being of a certain type of person, yeah.
pressure or people within the government or whatever.
People who were mad that Trump won.
Yeah.
Because they were mad. And that's what it was about.
Hillary. In the aftermath, the company partnered with ABC News, AP, PolitiFact, Snopes, and FactCheck.org to flag content that was called false or misleading by third-party fact checkers. Now, here's the thing. They are biased because they had, was the one organization, Media Matters, and they were out there trying to say, like, Dave Rubin was an anti-gay bigot. And it's like, Dave Rubin's gay.
And, you know, ABC.
He's gay.
Well, we have ABC News and what happened there recently.
Oh, yeah.
And ABC is where The View is. But there's no political bias. ABC, that was one of the places that they had one of those Project Veritas. They got the guy on camera, you know, saying the stuff he was saying. I'm like, yeah, they're right off the bat. The first one you list is questionable.
Now, this is some shit now. They're trying to make sure that Zuckerberg doesn't get held accountable because he was in charge. I mean, he could have put his foot down at any point in time.
He could have.
Jack Dorsey walked away from Twitter.
Right.
I mean, he was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore because you guys it's ridiculous. Said, since then, Zuckerberg has had to balance his personal views on free speech with his obligation to shareholders as the leader of a $1.56 trillion company. Outgoing FTC chairwoman Lena Khan on Tuesday suggested Zuckerberg was looking for sweetheart deals from the incoming Trump administration and its upcoming antitrust lawsuit. This is Belinsky, I guess, who was talking about the Facebook, said told the Wrap it was unlikely Zuckerberg made his decision to boost Meta's odds of winning the case, saying the executive was already moving in this direction before the election. That's actually true because I think he knew which way the wind was blowing. And
I think it's also been getting out of hand.
Yeah. I think Musk knocked over the first domino with Twitter. And that was kind of like once he bought Twitter, fired a whole bunch of people and was like, oh, Twitter didn't completely collapse, did it?
Well, not
we can
just
fire
that.
people too. We can get rid of activists too.
Not just that, though. He has access to all the things that said he didn't
Twitter
do.
files. Yeah. Here's the pressure from the government telling us to do this and that and everything else. And it was, I mean, look, I don't know what 2025 is going to be like going. I have no idea. I'm hearing all kinds of weird, crazy stuff. Like we're going to become Canada and own Greenland and, you know, the Gulf of America. Like I have no idea, but I can tell you that 2020 to 2022 especially was a dystopian hellscape. I mean, it was like I was literally like, we would have conversations. I'm like, my God, the government has so much control over people now. We're locked in our houses, forced to take experimental drugs. You're not going to be able to get on a plane or hold a job if you don't do it. And everybody's depressed as hell. People are literally killing themselves because they're depressed. And the government's like, this is fine. This is what you have to do if you're a good person. And we started seeing like that social credit score shit creep into the equation too. And you weren't allowed to speak out on social media. It was
well, you only
awful.
could if you leaned a certain way.
Yeah, it was awful. And if you would dissent at all, and that's why that was kind of the peak of the I think the anti-Clownfish insanity, because it was safe to go after people like us that were kind of middle of the road, but you know, we were outspoken about some stuff and you know, because there would be no penalties. You could literally wish death on people that were on the right or conservative or even in the middle, and that was fine. But if you would misgender somebody, you know, on social media, it'd be
not
like,
even intentionally, yeah.
Right. It was crazy.
To those people, I say hi.
Yeah, right. Oh, she's waving her middle finger now, but yeah. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens going forward. I mean, it's crazy how fast things are changing. I mean, it literally was like, oh, wait, Trump might win again? Oh, fuck this. We're not going to do this woke shit anymore.
No,
We're not going to do any of this.
We don't have to. Yay.
Yeah, we don't have to. Yay. But I'm also like, you enabled it. You went along with it. And we're just supposed to forget about it? Like, I don't trust
okay,
Facebook.
but here's the thing. If they would not have lost all the money, we wouldn't be hearing this now.
That's true. But it's also like just shows how fickle they actually are. Like, oh yeah, you think there's some Soros bucks in it, or you think there's some federal
Soros bucks,
you know, some like government money or something. You're going to go along with it. You're just going to, but then it's like as soon as that dries up, you're like, oh yeah, we're all about free speech now. Anyway, we're going to wrap this one up, guys. There it is. We'll keep you posted. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.